Annalisa, is it easier to talk to your mom or at school? Or it's the same?
You see this fear overcome her. She's not talking to anybody in school. It's affected her whole life. It's been very difficult.
Someone doing something, or if you
No, I don't know.
The only way to get over selective mutism is to confront it and to confront the situations that make us anxious.
You're thinking about one show.
Part of you is telling yourself to go and do it, but then part of you saying you can't.
Try new things and face their fear. I want their lives to change from it, and so there's always a part of me that's worried that their lives aren't going to change enough.
I feel like this week is make or break it. We need this right now, and we need it to be successful.
Text station, maybe. Yeah. Welcome to WeSpeak. Woo! All of you guys are here because in one way or another, anxiety is impacting your life. Selective mutism is an anxiety disorder where kids have difficulty talking in certain situations. So they look like normal kids at home, and when they are in a state of anxiety, then they just kind of shut down and freeze and are unable to respond. A lot of them actually can't even ask to go to the bathroom. And so I've seen actually older kids who have had accidents in school. So for a shy kid, they're slow to warm up, but this is not the case with kids with SM. And in fact, it's actually the opposite. So for kids with SM, the longer that they go without talking, then the harder it is to start talking. We gotta work for our prizes.
Annalisa is very funny. I wish people could see that, you know.
I can feel my goal. Mommy's recording. Let her record.
She is at home a typical teenager, but then when she leaves the house, everything changes.
Is your name Annalisa, Lexi, or Shelley?
There's a physical transformation that comes about. It's so difficult to watch, you know, because you see this like a fear overcome her, and you know that they want to be invisible.
This way, is it easier to talk to your mom or at school?
She has had selective mutism basically her whole life. Diagnosed at the age of 5. I went home and Googled it and then cried because I realized, you know, that she was different and that this wasn't just shyness. And it's affected her whole life. It's been very difficult. I'm hoping that she'll be able to lead a normal life, you know, get married, have children, have a job, go to college. But a lot of that hangs in the balance of will she be able to talk?
Do we conquer anxiety by doing the thing that makes us anxious? The cause of selective mutism is kind of a combination of environment and genetics. There's often one or both parents who also have a history of anxiety. And parents They'll kind of jump in and either answer for the child, or they might say, oh, it's okay, honey, you don't need to answer. And so through that process, the child is actually learning to avoid the situations that make them anxious until it really becomes kind of an ingrained pattern.
I like tennis or soccer better. That was awesome.
What is your name? Okay, can we try saying it a little bit louder? Brianna. Okay, and where do you live? In Vancouver. That must
We
be
have each of the kids make a video in advance and send it to us. For many of them, you wouldn't even know that they had selective mutism on the video.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I live in Pemberton, BC, and live on a farm.
Who do you find it easiest to talk to? Your parents? Mm-hmm.
With at home with us, she's quite outgoing and like I say, very chatty.
I guess the age of 3 really was the sort of a pivotal moment. We just thought it was a typical case of her being shy.
Do you like homework plan?
Well, it depends. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
She actually stepped off into this pond, and most kids would have splashed, kicked, gone crazy. She sank.
It was only 2 feet deep. It's only knee deep, but she just froze, laid there at the bottom.
So you started to think, okay, she can't keep herself safe.
What do you want to do when you grow up? Be a vet, a veterinarian. Yeah? You have lots of animals.
And each day you're gonna play Jenga just for 15 minutes in the beginning, in another small step. So on video games, you guys can tell your parents, excuse me, I'm just trying to learn problem-solving skills here.
James talks to me and his dad and his brother and my parents, and that's really it.
No one at school.
Nobody at school.
Me too. I'm getting my tea. Let's jump out.
It's very hard. You have points where you feel angry because you don't know how to help them, and when there is no help out there and no one knows what to do, and the teachers think he's just defiant and just doesn't want to speak, and you know it's not true.
That's right, Scarlett.
I feel like this week is make or break it. I mean, I don't want to say our last chance because I would hate to say that, but I really do think we need this right now, and we need it to be successful.
And Chelsea is going to ask you the question as yes or no. Make sense to you? Hand down?
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Every kid's presentation is completely different. We also have kids in there who are very comfortable talking to adults, and then with peers, you see a different child. 30 seconds. Go, 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 go. No, not yet. No toppings yet, just flavors. Is it harder to talk to family or at school?
At school.
At school. And is it harder to talk to the kids at school or teachers?
No, the kids.
The kids.
Emily's talking at school and doing what she needs to do to get through the day, but she's not herself at school. There's a lot of her personality that isn't really shining through. She's only doing the bare minimum, so she answers questions if people ask her. She doesn't initiate conversations.
It's like a lump in your throat, and it's part of you's telling yourself to go and do it, but then part of you saying you can't. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to, and sometimes I actually can't do it.
Mm-hmm. I think my biggest fear in all of these is just that they're not going to get out of it what I am hoping for them. It's a lot that parents are investing in. Crawl. Crawl. I want their lives to change. What is it? Red Hot Chili Peppers. Love it.
Pretty good team name. Thanks to you. We're about to go do a scavenger hunt at a local market. The kids are going to be asking employees where different ingredients are. Yes or no?
I remember when I used to go grocery shopping.
Yes, you like to go grocery shopping? You can say, yes, I like to go grocery shopping. It can be really hard for these kids to just do a normal thing like going into a grocery store because it's an unexpected place. Something like a normal compliment could be really like anxiety inducing because they're like, okay, now I'm expected to respond. Here it is. Here, I am an employee that works here. I'm just loading some cookies onto a shelf. And then you ask, where are the jalapenos? Awesome job. So for Annalisa, yes or no? Currently at like one-word responses, I can feed her a line of like, oh, you could ask me this, and then she'll ask me that back, but no spontaneous utterances thus far. I had SM when I was a kid. I really relate to these kids on so many levels, so it's hard for me sometimes to push them too far because I know exactly how they're feeling. You can ask the question here. Where's the
jalapenos is in the produce.
In the produce aisle, awesome. Great job asking. That was so awesome and clear. Thank you very much. Was it harder or easier to ask the question to the clerk or to practice with me? Did it feel a little scary or really scary? You don't know.
It is a challenge to accept medicine because you think somebody isn't doing what they should be doing.
Meeting parents that also are dealing with selective mutism has been almost like life-changing for me.
It's just great to hear other people say that these are the same struggles. I mean, their child can't get up to go to the bathroom, or their child does this or that James does. It makes you feel better to hear that you're not crazy.
They may not know how to ask them about effects and side effects.
Well, that's really what treatment is about practicing things that make us anxious. But really, the kids at this stage, they don't really know why they're scared of talking to other people. I couldn't tell you what I was afraid of when I was 5, and I think most of these kids don't really know either. The only way to get over selective mutism is to confront it, and to confront the situations that make us anxious.
What I said was either sit down, sometimes I advise parents to write letters to their kids because you don't have to deal with the interpersonal stuff right then and there. They can read it and reread it, and they don't have to.
People say, what's the research or evidence for this? We're not quite there to be able to say, you can take it to the bank, this is going to work. But we are confident about tweaking the program to make it work. For us, it's getting the parents to do what we do. That's our challenge. So I don't think of this week as the therapy. I think of it as teaching the therapist how to do the therapy. And it's very daunting because there's this turning point where they realize, oh, so I'm literally going to have to do this every day or every week? And the answer is yeah, relentlessly.
This afternoon, our group is going to Battery Park, so all the kids will be communicating with each other and with someone else out in the community. So this should be exciting.
If you say to him, shall we ask? Then he'll probably say no. So just say, let's ask. What is it? Just start it off. Just start it off. Yeah.
As a mom, to see James struggling it's hard. I mean, it's very stressful and produces great anxiety in me because you're watching this child who I know can talk, and I know he wants to talk, and he just can't get it out. I've asked him before, you know, where are your words? Why can't you get your words out? And he'll say, they're stuck in my head. I can't get it out. When his words get stuck in his head, it just, my anxiety level really does increase, and I just feel like I want to grab him and hug him and make it all better.
1, 2, 3. Great job.
Do you ever worry that it's too much?
The treatment for anxious kids is in putting them in situations that make them anxious and actually facing their fears. We need them to actually experience the anxiety in these situations and get through it for them to see that they can.
What is it? Statue of Liberty, yeah. Hi, we've got a question. We're looking for South Street Seaport.
You see a kid like Brianna who, you know, wants to be around other kids, and you could just see them wanting to talk and wanting to build that relationship.
Great, one more time. Have you been here before? No. Go ahead and ask. Ask a little bit louder. What's your favorite color?
Obviously, we'd love to get her out of her whisper, but the whisper is really secondary. The first step is just getting them talking and expanding their talking to other situations and other people.
We would love for James just to have a friend to be able to talk to. You can't go through life alone, so hopefully he can find one person to play with and one person to speak to. I mean, I can't imagine going through life and not having a friend.
Try to do, I make a statement, you guys say or ask something back to me, and then back to you. So, a lot of these kids just really can't have a simple conversation with another peer, and so the last couple of days is going to be a lot of work around that. If we're hanging out and I say, I can't wait for my vacation in a couple of weeks, talk about what you guys would say or ask back to me.
I want to learn how to go up to people because sometimes I want more friends than I have.
I prefer to be outside because it's more peaceful. Why do you prefer music? I like to watch TV and stay inside.
When was the last time you had a conversation like that with two people that you don't really know?
It's been a while.
How long's a while?
A couple of years.
Do you want to stay in touch with Emily after we speak? Yeah. What did you do that was really cool?
Hung out with other kids outside WeSpeak.
You hung out with other kids outside of WeSpeak. And this was for the partner project. Annalisa blows me away. You know how anxious she is. You know what it's like for her. And she was just up there in front of an entire class. Did you guys go to the museum with your parents or without your parents? Without your parents. Did you guys talk in the museum or were you silent?
We talked about the flavors on the High Line. We then talked about what flavors we got, things we liked at the flea market.
Everyone could hear her and she answered everyone's questions. You become very attached to them. You become very invested in them. And once you start to see them make progress, you want to keep going with them. Every one of them just
work and try new things and face their fears.
Annalisa.
So lucky to get to hang out with her a ton. We made like a million bracelets together. Annalisa, I don't believe, talks to anybody in school. So if she's able to start the new school year able to raise her hand and say here, then like the kids in the class know that she can talk. Like that would be the first time the kids in her class ever hear her voice. Like that is massive progress.
I have to say, when I saw her little presentation, that almost brought tears to my eyes, so that was very happy. I know that she's going to work really hard, and very confident that going forward, this is a new chapter in her life.
Emily.
I am proudest of her today for helping to facilitate a
How
conversation.
would you feel if I told you that Emily today, she kind of led a conversation between two of the other girls?
I'm surprised. I'm thrilled. Hopefully it means she realizes that she can do it and that she can go back to school and have conversations.
Don't act like you didn't do it. Take credit for it.
How does that feel, having done that today?
It feels good and exciting.
They only practiced like 3 times. They're amazing. So I'm super proud of her.
This is not a cure for these kids. This is the start of their journey to overcome and challenge their SM.
What would it be like if everyone could hear you talking out loud?
I think she'll probably start by texting, which is great. She's never done that either.
Seems minor, but it's a big deal.
James! Amazing!
Being fully engaged in the games that we're playing, Monopoly, Sticky Fingers with some of them.
James's mom actually emailed me last night, and she said that James and Brianna were emailing each other back and forth last night, several exchanges about their shared interests. So this is it. This is what it's all about.
I never thought that James would be able to stand up at the end, just even standing in front of 20 parents and getting a certificate, not speaking. I mean, that was impressive. I was concerned that he might not speak to his one mentor. It does look like they're tiny steps, but in reality for James, they are huge, enormous, great leaps.